excellence, that which has attained the status of being the best. It is that constant dedication to improvement and refinement that creates a superior result. That is excellence. While the word is applied to all manner of things, from leadership to automobiles, it is ultimately people that create excellence. The EIMAC division of Varian Associates this year celebrates 50 years of striving for excellence. For 50 years, the people of EIMAC have been constantly dedicated to improving and refining their products. This is their story. It was through amateur radio clubs that Bill Eitel and Jack McCullough first became acquainted. Radio communication was in its infancy. It was amateurs who, through their inventiveness, helped to shape the technology that made better and farther transmissions possible. But RCA held the patents that strangled the growth of the commercial radio business. Slowly, a handful of small companies were developed to create systems outside of the clutches of RCA. One such company was Heinz & Kaufmann. They were developing the Globe wireless system as a communications tool for the dollar steamship lines. While employed at Heinz & Kaufmann, Bill and Jack's work resulted in more sophisticated tube manufacturing processes. In their spare time, they created new tubes which they knew would be useful to the amateur radio market. But Dollar Lines was interested only in Globe wireless systems. So, in the Depression year of 1934, Bill Eitel and Jack McCullough formed their own company to make and sell tubes to the amateur radio market.
Well, after making the break at Heinz & Kaufmann to form Eitel-McCullough in September 1934, we had a lot of fun. The interesting thing about the break was the fact that if we knew how little we knew, we would never start the company.
Well, we started with the 150T because we felt that that was a convenient size. We could probably develop a better market there for the price of the tube.
We went from pillar to post and problem to problem, but as I say, we were always just a little ahead of disaster, and the tubes were accepted quite enthusiastically in the amateur fraternity.
By 1939, EIMAC was enjoying a modest popularity towards their products. World War II would change that.
Well, when World War II came along, we were, I believe, 21 or 22 people. And we had a terrific expansion ahead of us. The military had all of a sudden, from just taking a tube here and there for experimental work, placed orders on us that were just overwhelming.
While it wasn't traditional to have women in the workforce, men were being called to the armed services. Staffing requirements forced a change away from tradition.
A lot of the work we were doing was very detailed and painstaking. And so we decided that in order to expand, why we had just better bring in some women, and it turned out so well. They were good employees, loyal, everything you could ask for and more. In the meantime, the armed services wanted us to move inland, and Jack and I looked around and we went up to Salt Lake City and we built a plant up there, probably a little larger than the combined San Bruno plant.
The Army and Navy awarded EIMAC with the E for Excellence Award, signifying the great contribution that was made towards helping the Allied forces fight their way to victory. But victory at war meant drastic cutbacks for EIMAC. the San Bruno plant experienced severe layoffs. The Salt Lake City plant was closed. Still, by building on their reputation for excellence, EIMAC was able to introduce new and better products to the market, products that were immediately accepted, which meant once again expanding the company and reopening the Salt Lake City plant. As production flourished, new breeds of tubes were introduced. EIMACers found themselves making klystrons, television tubes, oxide cathode tubes. In 1959, EIMAC outgrew its San Bruno facilities and moved to a new site in San Carlos. During the dedication ceremonies, the signal from a 10-kilowatt klystron stationed in Alaska was bounced off the moon and received in San Carlos.
In January 1963, I became an EIMACer, and the thing that struck you immediately was the warmth in the place, the warmth and the pride that people took in their work, and that has just continued to characterize EIMAC, EIMAC San Carlos, EIMAC Salt Lake, every part of EIMAC. Looking back on it, and I've said this many times, it's been absolutely the most fun part of my life.
The vitality, adaptability, and creativity that was EIMAC showed in its continued expansion. At a 1965 awards banquet, Jack McCullough told the audience that change is essential to growth. Change was indeed in the air.
One of the memorable moments in my life was a trip I took to Washington, D.C. with Bill Eitel. At that point in time, it must have been 1965, when Varian and EIMAC, separately but jointly, I decided to merge. I remember I was skiing at the time, but I got a message from the ski slopes telling me that the merger could go on. It was one of the most exciting moments of my life.
I have been with EIMAC for 40 years. I was the 22nd employee hired. My wife-to-be was the first woman to be hired into the pump department. Her father asked her to quit college so that she could go to work in a factory to release a man to go to war for us. I have seen the transition from low-power tubes to megawatt tubes. I have seen the transition of glass tubes to glass and ceramic tubes to all ceramic tubes. My 40 years is a good portion of EIMAC's 50 years. I have made many friends at EIMAC during those 40 years, so I want to congratulate all of us EIMACers on our 50th anniversary. The future of EIMAC is in the hands of a new generation. Traditionally, EIMACers have passed their knowledge on to newcomers, so I want to encourage all newcomers to listen and learn, and wish them the very best for the future.
Over the years, I've made many, many friends. We've celebrated birthdays and anniversaries and even births of babies. We've also celebrated the marriages of our children and the births of our grandchildren. A lot of my friends have retired, but we still keep in touch. Friendships at EIMAC last forever. Now, 25 years later, we now have a quality circle. We also have a new group of young people, and my hope is that they will make lasting friends like we have. I wish them as much happiness as I have enjoyed at EIMAC. To all my old friends and my new, I wish you all a happy 50th anniversary.
My story is about John Coker, who's now retired EIMACer. One morning he bought a goldfish for one of his grandsons and kept it in a mason jar over his workbench to take home that night. At lunchtime, I snuck out of the plant and bought another goldfish and put it in the jar with his fish. When he saw this, he did a double take and called the guy he bought the fish from to confirm whether there was one or two fish. With that, I said, the damn thing must have been pregnant and had a baby. Well, John didn't quite believe that story because the baby was bigger than the mother. I'd just like to wish all the guys I worked with for all these years and all the EIMACers a happy 50th anniversary.
Now, when I first came to EIMAC, they took me around and showed me the assembly line and the fires. I was hoping and praying I wouldn't be stuck on the fires, and Lord and behold, that's where they put me, on the fires. I came to work for a year to buy a sofa, a stove, and so forth. That year has really stretched to 30. You've heard about the man who came to dinner and stayed all night. That's me. All in all, it's been fun and, of course, lots of changes. I'm proud to have been a contributor and helped EIMAC arrive at its record of good and dependable service to our customers. Much of this success is also due to people like Elmer, Eleanor, and Jeannie, who were leaders. There is the kind of leadership that makes everything move well. A happy 50th anniversary to each and every one of you. TTFN, which means tot-tot for now.
Yeah, some of the highlights I can remember in the last 10 years is we were having a very severe problem with the triode version of the megawatt tube, the 8972. It's used in South Carolina fiberboard industry for curing fiberboard. And we were just shipping tubes out right and left and getting tubes back. We're really in a panic situation. We made a change in the design of the anode. We called the thin wall anode, and sent one of those to them, and the tube ran the longest any tube's ever run, 12,000 hours. Since then we've had some other problems, but that anode design proved itself out. And another one is just last year, made a trip to Saudi Arabia and Egypt. I never thought I'd be doing anything like that when I first came to work here. It was very interesting to go out in the countryside, really back in the boonies, meet with the people that are operating the transmitters and see the transmitters, and it was very interesting. Even brought myself back an outfit now. I'm a sheik. I've been growing quite a bit over the last 10 years with EIMAC, although relatively short time compared to as long as some people have been here. There's been a lot of people that have retired in the 10 years that I've been here that I'll never forget working with them. I'd like to congratulate everyone at EIMAC and ex-EIMACers on our 50th anniversary.
I went to work for EIMAC 25 years ago to send my kids to college. I started in production wrapping 150As and went on to learn most of the medium and high power grids. This was my boot camp and my basic training for the job that I got as a junior tech in advanced products 7 years ago. Graphite grids were just coming into their own then, and one of my first jobs was actually sandblasting the graphite cup into a grid for 2206, it was called then. Now they're done with our laser machine. They seem to be the grids of the future. During my years in production, I made many friends, and many's the cake we had celebrating birthdays, anniversaries, new babies. Most of the people are still here. Some of them are retired, but I still see many of them when I'm making my rounds around the plant. The opportunities are here at EIMAC if you'll just go for them. I'd like to wish all fellow EIMACers success in the future and a happy 50th anniversary.
I would like to take this opportunity to congratulate EIMAC on its 50th anniversary. My family is celebrating an anniversary of sorts here at EIMAC as well. At one time or another, my father has worked here, my mother has worked here, and my wife works here now. We all feel we have established many new friends and another family of sorts here at EIMAC. As a matter of fact, my father and I also found romance here. My father met my mother here, and I met my wife, Carol, here. She is in her 6th year. I'm celebrating my 10th anniversary. My mother worked here for 12 years, and my father for 22. By coincidence, that adds up to 50 years. I would once again like to congratulate EIMAC and all of my co-workers in the tool room.
I work with a lot of nice people. There's one person that has stuck with me ever since I've been here, and that was Nunzio LeGrand. He was a real sweetheart. He'd been here ever since I started. He didn't change from day to day. He was always laughing and telling jokes, singing all the time, and once in a while he danced me to my press. I think that one of the things that used to make the ladies laugh in our department is he'd start singing Jingle Bells in October to remind them that Christmas was coming. Nunzio passed away about a year ago. We all missed him very much, and it was Fred Hanna's idea to make a memorial plaque, and we have it hanging right now behind our tool bench with his picture on it, and I think it'll be here as long as EIMAC's here. Nunzio, if you're up there listening, we wanted you to know we love you, and we wished you were here to help us celebrate our 50th anniversary. We miss you very much. To all my friends, and co-workers, I would also like to wish you a very happy 50th anniversary also.
When I first came to EIMAC, I was a little concerned that I may not be able to blend in as well because of the maturity of the people in EIMAC. One of the mature characters I met was a guy named Stu Ruggles. I guess he gave me the first lesson in finance. He cornered me in the corridor and told me about us in Palo Alto thinking of EIMAC as a cash cow. He says, that's not true. Cows need to see the bull. I think what I've seen in EIMAC in the last 2 years is that I've seen a lot of old-time people who are as excited in EIMAC as they've been. They still get mad and they're still very much alive, and that's the magic of EIMAC. Special thanks to all the people from accounting and to the EIMACers. More power to you and congratulations.
One of the things that I remember the most, it was kind of a rotten thing that we did for our lead lady at Christmas time. She's a very old-fashioned lady. And all of us girls got together and pitched in some money. And we bought her this sexy little baby doll nightgown. It was cute, it was red, but see-through, very much see-through. Well, we told everybody in Building 3 what we got her, and we made sure everyone was there when she opened the present. Larry, our head supervisor, was there, and Howard Bowman, who was our supervisor at the time. And just everyone was packed around just to watch Helen open up her gift. And when she did, I've never seen anybody get so red in the face. She was shocked. It was hilarious. I brought my camera just to get it on film. 5 years ago when I started working here, it was mainly out of necessity. I had to. But after I started working with the people, meeting them and them helping me, training me in the medium power, I rose quite quickly. I was happy with my work. Now, just recently, I've gotten into high power, and I'm ecstatic about my work. I love it. It's terrific to be able to start from scratch and see the tube and build it and do every step by myself and to see it go out the door. It's great. In the future, right now, my goal is just to get to become a technician. And after that, well, we'll see what happens. I want to congratulate all of us for our 50th anniversary.
Well, in 1941, I heard about EIMAC through a friend of mine that knew I needed a job badly. And at that time, he coached me on what to say because EIMAC was only hiring ham operators. So I came down and was interviewed by a fellow by the name of Eddie Hetzel. And I said, oh yeah, sure, I work with radios and so forth. And after I'd had my job secured, he asked me one night what I really knew about radios. Did I really work on radios? And I said, sure. I know how to turn them on and off. There are people here that I admire greatly. One in particular comes to mind is Bob Herdman. Was one of the nicest people I ever met. There was Bill and Jack that we always looked up to because we felt that they'd done an awful lot for their employees. It's given me a great life. All I can say to those that still have their future ahead of them here, there's a lot of opportunity here, and all you have to do is do what another old friend of mine said to me that always stuck in my mind. Don't just do the job, but always give a little bit more. Even though you may think you're not getting rewarded, in the end it pays off.
I think EIMAC is a remarkable example of a company which two technical people started, Bill and Jack, back in the 40s with a technical and business philosophy that made it a success while they were there, but yet which managed to continue on the same track that they initially carved out, and without losing its character, its vitality, its dedication to quality, continue being a success long after the founders left it. I don't think there are too many examples of that, and I think EIMAC's 50th year, EIMAC's golden anniversary at 50 years is a remarkable accomplishment, both on the part of the founders in having such a lasting influence in the company and the part of the people that work there today in making the success that it is. Congratulations on your golden anniversary, and may there be many more.
We are clearly the world leaders in power grid and clearly the world leaders in X-ray tubes. And when you think of 1984, you can't help but think about the Olympics and the success the United States has had. And look at the success EIMAC has had. Go for the gold. That has characterized EIMAC for 50 years, and we have won the gold every year in those 50 years. So let's keep that going. Go for the gold.
During the last 5 years, there's been a slow, gradual switch in the manufacturing organization from small tubes to the more sophisticated medium power, high power tubes. The Clystrode was introduced. High performance tubes were introduced. So the challenge then was to build tubes today which were more difficult to build than those that existed many years ago. EIMAC people rose to that challenge. So we have now set the stage so that we can build these new sophisticated tubes and better compete in the world marketplace. The next 50 years will be every bit as exciting as the last 50 years as the technology moves toward the higher performance devices.
Moving forward, meeting challenges, improving, refining, and improving again. This is the dedication that has so clearly typified the people of Varian's EIMAC division. And now, as EIMAC celebrates 50 golden years, one should not look on this occasion as the ending of an era, but rather as a milestone along a route taken by generations of employees dedicated to continuing in pursuit of excellence.